It's Chelsea.
It's Nina.
And you're in the Critic's Kingdom. So today we're going to be talking about Mom's Got a Date with the Vampire.
Early 2000s. 2000, actually.
2000, yeah, literally one of the early DComs because they had only started 3 years prior.
Yeah. So I actually really enjoyed this one when I was younger. It was definitely, the top 3 in my favorite Halloween DComs. I would look forward to it whenever it came on at Halloween. I was scared of it when I was younger just because I was scared of vampires, but now it's not that anymore. It's definitely more of a fun one for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a lighter one. Like, I don't remember it being a favorite when I was young, but I definitely saw it like a couple of times. I was like, oh, okay, it's like a lighter, Halloween type film. Nothing too serious, and it had some good or some recognizable actors, I should say.
Yeah, it's a nice little. Who will eventually be Lizzie McGuire's dad, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's fun. Hilda from Sabrina
the Teenage Witch, the live action one.
Live action comedy, not the new Netflix joint.
Yeah, no. Yeah. The one with Melissa Joan Hart. The one with Melissa Joan Hart. The new Netflix one was a lot different. It was more dark. But yes, the one with Melissa Joan Hart, she plays Aunt Hilda.
And then...
Or Zelda. I can't remember.
I think it's Hilda. Zelda's the older one.
Yeah.
I feel like she's the serious one.
Yeah, she plays the fun aunt.
Yeah. And then Maxwell Sheffield from The Nanny.
Yes.
Isn't it as well?
Who is a lord, knighted by the Queen of England.
Fun fact. I guess for his acting?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know what that says about Great Britain if it was for his acting, but
he's not a bad actor.
No. It's just the repertoire isn't necessarily very.
I'll have
elevated.
to go back through it. Maybe he did one really really good film, and we're not thinking about it. But also, The Nanny was part
Beloved.
of was part of an American culture. So he did make great British contributions to American culture.
Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, so I guess just dive into it really quickly. Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. It begins, so we started off actually with a scene from a movie that is being watched in the movie, and it's all about, how true love is capable of breaking a vampire's trance on their potential victim. And we pull out to see that it is because Adam, who is, I guess, technically the main character of this.
Yeah.
He's the middle child, about 13. He's the main character, but I think his little brother Taylor is the hero of the film, and you will understand why very quickly. But Adam, he's an interesting child. He's interested in horror.
What I like to call troubled. He's Disney troubled.
Yeah, their version of a troubled child. He's really interested in horror and doesn't seem to care about anything else or anyone else but himself. He lives with his older sister, Chelsea, who's probably 15, 16-ish.
Yeah, definitely upper high school.
Yeah, and then his little brother Taylor, again, is 8. And Hilda and Sabrina. We should probably look up
Lynette.
His name.
Her real name is Caroline Ray.
Caroline Ray.
Caroline Ray.
Thank you for that, Chelsea. Lynette in this film, that is his mother's name. He lives with his mother. His parents are divorced, and apparently his dad is getting remarried.
Right.
So Adam goes to school the next day, didn't do his homework. Just didn't do it. And tries to read from a magazine, gets in trouble, and when his mom finds out, she's like, you know what, you gotta take things more seriously, I'm grounding you. And his friend had just told him that he got backstage passes to go see this band that they really like, and he's like, Mom, please don't ground me this weekend, I'll do all of next week, not this weekend. And she's just like, nah. So he hatches a plan with his sister, who also gets in trouble for, laughing at him while he's being punished. And they decide to try to set their mom up with a date so that they can go out on Friday night. And they turn to the newspaper, which is fun. A little analog throwback. Because it's definitely not something you do anymore. And they go into, like, the classified ads for, like, man-seeking woman. And they find this guy called Wolfsbane, email him, and set up a meet at the supermarket for later that evening. And they pitch it as, like, you know, they're trying to get their mom back up and dating, and she doesn't necessarily know yet, so it's like a surprise kind of situation.
Right.
Then Adam emotionally manipulates his mother at dinner.
Yep.
Into going to the supermarket for chocolate chip pancakes ingredients, because he's that type of child. He pretends that he's really upset about the divorce and his father getting remarried, even though he absolutely is not. They go to the supermarket, and she bumps into Dimitri, aka Mr. Sheffield, who they don't know yet, but he is Wolfsbane. But they bump into each other. They kind of hit it off a little bit. He's, like, you know, tall, dark, and handsome, so she's a little intrigued, but, you know, she's not, like, taken with him, per se. But he asks her on a date. She says yes. And, you know, all seems kind of well, except when they leave the supermarket, the little one, Taylor, sees him turn into a bat and is like, yo, he's a vampire. And the next day, when they actually go on the date, or when they're getting ready to go on the date, when she's getting ready to go on the date.
Right.
Let me run that back, all the way back. When she's getting ready to go on the date, she doesn't really want to go anymore. She just doesn't think that she's ready to, because this is her first time dating since the divorce. But the children convince her to go because, again, you know, they got plans. They're trying to get her out of the house. And Dimitri has this whole, like, romantic evening plan, and she's kind of, like, not really about that. But they go to this restaurant, and the little one is freaking out because he's like, yo, Dimitri's a vampire, mom's on a date with a vampire, and he's gonna kill her, or bite her, whatever. And the older ones are like, shut up, small child. We trying to finesse this, we trying to have a time tonight, and you're gonna ruin it. Your babysitter's about to be here, like, just chill. He is like, that's ridiculous. He goes upstairs to call a vampire hunter, Lisa, who is named Van Helsing, Malachi Van Helsing. We see in other scenes that he's sort of tracking Dimitri in the town.
Yeah, he first shows up when they're at the grocery store, but they don't notice him, and he doesn't notice them.
Yeah. And he's got this little, like, magic compass and crystals and all these things that, like, lead him to, like flaming footprints and all this stuff. It's kind of cool, actually. Nice little special effects. Mm-hmm. They actually look decent.
They do.
Which is pleasant. But the little one is like, you know what? I'm gonna go handle this since y'all won't. So he sneaks out on his bike, and the kids are like, okay, we have to go get Taylor. They go to the restaurant because Dimitri told them what restaurant they were going to. And Adam goes in with Taylor and essentially tells them that Taylor thinks he's a vampire. Dimitri does, like, a little spoon test to prove that he's not. They lie to Taylor that, like, that's a thing, that vampires can't hold spoons on their noses. And since he can, Taylor's satisfied and they're leaving. But as they're leaving, Adam looks in a mirror positioned across from Dimitri, see that there's no reflection. And he's like, oh, snap. He really is a vampire. And then Dimitri turns around and does a very, very, like, creepy fanged little smile half wave situation. Essentially a gotcha bitch situation that we do. So now Adam is freaking out because he's like, oh no, mommy's on a date with a vampire. He has to convince Chelsea. Chelsea's not buying it, as one wouldn't, because, you know, you really would think that your little brothers are just bugging out. There's no reason to believe that vampires are real.
Yeah, she's trying to meet with her man.
She really is. Peter, his name is Peter. He's not in the film, but he stays on that phone with her. Like, I like to think it's true love. Like, he really cares about her. He's constantly checking in to make sure she's okay. See if she's on her way.
Yet? And she's like, no, this is happening now.
We love an off-screen, no-lines character like Peter.
Right.
He holds it down. So, yeah, they follow them to a club. In the club, Adam goes in and tries to, you know, stop them. He again, emotionally manipulate someone to try to, what does he tell him exactly?
He's like, oh, these girls over there said that you can't dance and that you're ugly.
So,
like, something like that. And then the guy was like, what? Like, and he's like, you should go dance with that young girl over there, which is his mom.
Yeah, it's because he's trying to get her away from Dimitri. It doesn't work. That's the short.
Yeah,
Dimitri, like, compels him away once he comes back.
Right.
So then he comes up with this plan to have a bouncer throw out Dimitri, and his mom, like, goes up and sings. It's very cute.
Yeah.
There's a little number done, a little rock and roll country situation.
Yeah.
So then Dimitri gets thrown out. He walks up a wall. Chelsea sees him walk up a wall and is like, oh, snap! Mom's on a date with a vampire. This is bonkers. So now she believes Adam. After they decide to leave the club, his mom and Dimitri, they go to a carnival, and Adam and Chelsea are now following them to the carnival to try and chase him down. While all this is happening, Taylor has been visited by Van Helsing. Van Helsing has now arrived at Taylor's door. His irresponsible babysitter doesn't do anything when Taylor opens the door and brings a grown-ass man inside the house that she's never met before. And Van Helsing's like, okay, I believe you, I'm gonna go track down your mom. Taylor sneaks out again into his car. The babysitter is none the wiser, because again, she's horrible at her job. And when Van Helsing sees him in his car, he's like, I'm gonna leave you on the side of the road. And Taylor's like, you really can't do that because I'm 8. You are now my guardian. Like, you have to look after me. So Van Helsing and Taylor are now, like, sort of, tracking where they have all been to try to find Dimitri. At the carnival, they they get a ride to the carnival from his little friend, who was Craig and Degrassi. There are a lot of people from other things that you might remember. This one,
yeah.
But Craig is with Boomer, who's this bully that he gave Adam's backstage pass to, and Adam promised Boomer his sister for this ticket, which is obviously not okay. But so that kind of comes to a head for a second. She gets mad at him and is like, how could you do that? Rightfully so. And then he tries to go and stop Dimitri from, biting his mom. Because Dimitri's had it now. And he's like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I hate your hillbilly music. And I hate carnivals. And I'm just compel you and bring you to my house. Adam tries to stop him. Doesn't work, obviously, because he's a vampire. And he's more powerful than this small child. And Adam immediately gives up. He says that we're just going to have to go live with Dad now. And Chelsea is like, what is wrong with you? No, we got to go get our mom. That's crazy. So they figure out where he's staying, just because, of his knowledge of vampire lore. They manage to get there before Dimitri gets home because of a roadblock. And they steal his coffin from the attic. Try to move it somewhere where he can't get to it. That also doesn't work because Adam is on the coffin on water because Dimitri can't get in the water. And Dimitri is like, all right, so I'm going to just take your sister then. And there's a moment where it could go really dark and really rapey, and it doesn't. And I appreciate that moment because, Dimitri's like, she can't be she's too young to be a bride, but she'd be a great little vampire princess. She could be my daughter. So Adam has to bring the coffin back upstairs and essentially, again, is bested by the vampire, because obviously. And once he gets bested, that's when Van Helsing and Taylor show up. Van Helsing and the vampire sort of duke it out. Van Helsing kind of wins a little bit, but then fundamentally loses. Yeah. Essentially, everyone loses. Taylor is the only one capable of stopping this vampire at any moment. Yeah. He, beats him with a stake. Doesn't stab him. Beats him.
Just, hits him on the head.
Because this is 2000 Disney. No blood. And then Dimitri is like, you know what? This is ridiculous. I am a vampire. I am working too hard for this meal. And he, compels everybody.
He puts them all, in a trance.
Yeah, so they can't move.
Right.
Then he's about to bite the mom. They're calling out to her, though, and she sort of just, because true love can break a trance, the true love for her children breaks her out of the trance. She pushes him in a coffin. He begs to be let out of said coffin. They do not. They're going to ship him to Transylvania, and then Van Helsing asks Mom out on a date.
Right.
For real.
And then they all go home to eat those chocolate chip pancakes from the beginning.
That were the cause of all of this.
Yes. So I guess now to get into the review. I don't know what that accent was. I feel like this movie is, like, interesting mostly in the way that, and I feel like this was a trope and we discussed it, this idea that you could barter your family members for things. Like, the fact that half of this plotline really started because, actually this entire thing started because they were trying to barter their mom so that Adam and Chelsea could go out. And then when he's like, oh, I want to go see this band that me and my friend Duffy, who was played by Craig from Degrassi, and then Duffy is like, oh, okay, and then he gets once Adam gets grounded, Duffy's like, okay, well, I'm gonna give it to the biggest bully so he can stop bullying us. And then to get the tickets back, once he realizes that, like, Adam realizes he can get his mom out the house, he has to offer Boomer, the bully, something, so he's like, how about my sister? I know you like my sister.
What? Yeah, well, I think Boomer, like, asked, like, can I go on a date with your sister?
No, he's like, I know you have a crush.
Oh, does he actually offer?
Yeah, Adam is literally like, I know you have a crush on a certain high
that
school, like, girl.
Yeah, I think I blacked it out.
And then he's like, you could get me in with
skeevy.
Chelsea, whatever their last name is. And that's how it starts. So he essentially offers his sister up on a platter for this bully, just so he can get tickets for something. But I feel like that's, like, the biggest thing in this film is it's just like, please don't, like, barter your family members in general, but especially the women in your life. Like,
yes.
Don't.
And just, like, and larger, too. It's just, don't treat people like property.
Right.
And respect bodies. It's like, all of that is just wrapped up in, vampires bite you without consent. And, like, all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, there's a very large sort of general consent and respect overtone to the film, if you're looking for it. But yeah, it really is just, it's very simple. There's nothing complex about it.
This definitely isn't one that we need, like, that has, like, these huge themes for us to, like, parse through. That was just, like, one of the ones that we were like, this is weird. But it also seems like it was very much a trope of that time, where it was very common to have, like, a kid brother, and then him to, like, barter his older sister, essentially doing something, like, romantic with this person.
Yeah. It definitely happened
just so that they can get something on the other end. And it's like, that's weird. Don't do that.
Yeah. But, I mean, I would like to think we generally know better now, or at least we're trying to teach the babies better. We're also trying to teach some of the adults better. But it'd be nice if y'all learned, if you picked up the pace so we could stop. But yeah, I think that there's also a bit in it that relates to just this idea of, trusting your instinct, sort of. Because Lynette should have died at the top of the film. This film shouldn't have happened. He should have gotten her
in real time. Yes.
Yeah, like, he should have gotten her out the house and then immediately been able to, like, bring her back. But the whole point is that his charms don't work on her because she's not actually prepared to do this, and she's not really ready to go out. She doesn't really want him in particular.
Yeah, they actually have, like, no connection. Yeah. Other than the fact that, like, I guess he would be what would be considered, like, cute at that time, but it was, like, other than that, once they got into, like, their actual likes and whatnot, for somebody in her, like, for her age.
Yeah, no, I remember, like, I wasn't, like, attracted to Mr. Sheffield, but, like, I understood why Fran was about it.
Right.
When I was little.
Right. So it's like, I think, but it's like once they actually started talking about, like, their likes and the things that she wanted to do, even on this date, versus what he wanted to do, it was just very different people.
Yeah.
So it's like she was clearly just going out with him almost on, like, a pity date. To an extent.
and also because her children were pressuring her to.
Yeah, her kids were pressuring her to do it. But it was like they were never going to click, even from the beginning, just because they had nothing really in common.
Yeah, so it is one of those things of, the fact that she wasn't ready to date and all of that, that's what, like, allowed it to be prolonged for them to even be able to intervene at any point. But if she had just if she had been like, you know what, I actually don't want to go on this date, like, I really don't want to do that, then well, I mean, we would have no movie, and that
Right.
would be sad. But in terms of the logic of these characters, you know, like,
Right.
I would like to think that they walk away from this, and from now on, Lynette is like, I'm gonna do what I think makes sense because y'all realize you brought a vampire into the house.
Right.
Like, that's what you did. Also, now vampires are real. Like, this is something I now have to grapple with in my everyday life.
Exactly.
And there's a very good chance I'm gonna end up with this vampire hunter, and that's what he does.
Whose name is Malachi.
Malachi.
Van Helsing.
I mean, it's fun to say.
It is.
You know that whoever came up with that, and like the writer's like, yeah, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
that's a good name.
Somebody was like, how can we put Van Helsing in this?
Well, you always have to have Van Helsing in the vampire movies, don't you? Well, you don't always have to. Obviously, the pretty vampire movies don't do things like that.
Yeah.
But the classic ones, like, there always is sort of a Van Helsing-esque character.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I guess he's the most famous of the...
Vampire Hunter?
Yeah. And actually, isn't Dracula, like, written from his perspective?
I've never read
I feel like it's not a diary entry, but it's like a letter or something like that. Or is it Frankenstein that's the letter?
Frankenstein is written from
no,
the perspective of the Doctor.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't.
I've never read. Yeah,
Bram
I'm pretty
Stoker's
sure. I'm pretty sure Dracula might be like from Van Helsing's perspective. Don't quote me on that though. I'm not sure. I could look it up, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Don't come at me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's all very easy. It's very easy, fun viewing. There's some fun lines. Dimitri has great lines.
He does.
He's a funny vampire. We enjoy him. There's a moment where he says something, and I think he says it to Lynette, or it's to Adam, where he goes, "Listen to them, children of the night, all the music they make." And my first reaction was like, that sounds like an Avicii lyric. Like, I feel like a bass should drop after he says that. I get some nice...
R.I.P. Avicii, by the way.
Yeah, true.
Just in case we have some house music fans, or techno, you know.
Electronic, technically.
Yeah.
I think.
Sure.
Yeah,
I didn't really... other
Avicii
than
would
his
fall
big
under
songs,
house.
I didn't know, like, deep what he really did.
That's fair. I should know better. I don't. I can't even pretend that I
But
do.
still, R.I.P. Avicii.
Yeah.
On that note, because he would have made this a very good song if he knew about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I completely agree. So I think, just to round it out, do you think that you would show this film to your kids?
I mean, yeah, it's fun. I'd let them, yeah. And I'd probably watch it with them. Like, I would probably put it in the, the Halloween rotation. You know?
I get that.
It would be one of the, if I ever did like a 30 Nights of Halloween situation, it would be one of the films in it. Also because I do like that the lessons that are here are important. You know? And they're very easily told. Don't interact with people online. Or not don't interact with people online, that's crazy.
Don't
Don't email
online.
strange men online. Don't respond to wanted ads seeking companionship online. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. And, I don't know if kids still get the MySpace talk that we used to have. I would think that they do, because the internet is now such a part of their lives. But maybe they don't have to have that talk because people, teachers and stuff, assume that they already sort of know it. I don't really know. I don't have kids, but yeah. I like that there are all of the things that come from it are generally positive, and Adam does, regret the things that he does.
Yeah,
in theory, he learns from it.
By the end, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'd agree too. I think I'd show this one to my kids. I don't know if this is one that I would be like, you must watch it, but it's like you said, it's fun, it's cute for Halloween. If you're little, you probably would enjoy it because it's it's just got it's got everything you could want.
Yeah, I will say what I do. Another thing I do like about it, it's got a good scare factor for young kids, but it's not terrifying. It really is just
it's not Don't Look Under the Bed, which I feel like is I feel like it's Disney's scary, quote unquote scariest one.
I would definitely agree. I told you that
we'll get to that.
We'll do the whole thing,
but
because I have opinions on that film.
Right. But actually we've discussed it, so you already know our feelings about it. But yeah, it's not like to that level, I think, where even with that one, even when I think about it, I remember that it like scared me to a degree as a child in certain parts. Like this one doesn't even really have like, they don't have any jump scares or anything like that. It's really just like him and the fangs that I feel like
it's just the concept
pop
of a
up
vampire.
Randomly. Yeah.
Because you don't even see him bite anybody. And there's and again, there's no blood because it's a Disney Channel original movie in 2000.
Yeah.
So, and again, they don't kill him. Like,
they don't even kill.
They don't even stake him.
They don't even kill Dimitri. They literally are like, we're just going to ship him somewhere else.
This is literally the least violent vampire film I think I've ever seen.
It's a very tame one, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, it's nice for kids.
Yeah,
it's
so
cute.
It's cute. Yeah, it's something that like a 5-year-old can
if
watch
you
and you don't have to be stressed.
I would say it's cute to rewatch too. It's quick. It's not a long one at all, and you know.
Yeah, it was a fun ride. We enjoyed it. We had some popcorn.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good time.
It's a cute little decomp to rewatch, I would say.
Yeah, so recommend, and you know, we'll be back next week with more of the Halloween party.
Yes. Have a happy Halloween pre weekend.
How is a fortnight? Halloween fortnight. Happy Halloween fortnight.
That's 2 weeks?
I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
Again, don't quote me, but that's what we're gonna go with.
Alright, bye guys. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of The Critics Kingdom. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and SoundCloud so you can stay up to date, as well as interacting and letting us know what you guys think on social media. You can find us on Twitter at Critics Kingdom and on Instagram at The Critics Kingdom. We're excited to talk to you again next week.